In the book, you also said that white people didn't build America; they supervised the building of America.
They didn't.
They got the Chinese through the railroads.
Irish dug the tunnels.
Right. They waited for them to sober up.
Right.
That's what you said.
This is what the funny thing about this country is America has always needed people who were willing to be exploited for the betterment of their people. We always needed them. Now, we co-opted, we took slaves, but after that we had the Chinese, the Irish, the Italians.
Right.
Now Italians are white, so you can't really say the same thing. But
they're considered white now, but back then
they weren't.
They weren't.
They weren't.
I remember, there were signs called "No Irish Need Apply."
Right. What did Irish become? Policemen and firemen.
Well, yeah. I remember studying this in school. Like they basically got together and said, "This is some bullshit. The only way we're going to get around this is to actually hold political office."
That's right.
And public office. So when you see the
and what did the Irish do?
Right. Well, for example, like the stereotype of Captain O'Reilly,
right?
The Irish police chief. It's not just a random thing. It's because the Irish systematically said we need to put our own people into these positions of power, and because we need to be able to police our own neighborhoods and so forth. What did they do? And they did it.
What they also did was hate the people less than them, which were us. That's what they shit literally rolls downhill. So they could assimilate and change their name, and we couldn't.
Yeah.
Everybody saw what it was like to be a person of color and went, fuck that, I ain't doing that no more. Everybody got to move up, and we didn't. And so when I hear all these things that we know to be true, World War II, you know who was interned? Not just Japanese. 700,000 Italians were. There were 10,000 interned Italians in Brooklyn. So imagine you got to opt out of some bullshit. We just didn't get to opt out. And then those people forgot where they were from. Those people forgot what it was like, or for their parents or grandparents, to be one of the others, and wanted to scrub that from memory.
Do you think that, for example, that for the first time in English history, you have a black woman, as part of the royal family?
That's not the first time.
Meghan Markle?
It's not the first time.
It's not the first time.
Not at all.
Really?
No. There's a movie called Belle that was based on.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I never saw it, but I know about it.
Not the first
and
time.
She was part of English royalty?
She was the reason she was one of the reasons that the English abolished slavery before we did.
Really?
Yes. Yes. The funny thing is, black women has been turning history around before people counted them as noteworthy.
But she was never a princess.
She was part of the royal family.
Okay, but England's first black princess is Meghan Markle.
She's a duchess, she's not a princess. And she'll never be a princess.
Well, but what if her husband becomes king?
You know how many people have to die for him to become king? He'll never.
He has a couple older. Well, he's got his father. And his older brothers, I guess.
And then his brother's sons.
Oh, they go before him?
Yes.
I don't know how it works.
Yes. You know how many people would? I'd be president before he be king.
Okay. And I've seen some interesting posts about this where a lot of people are celebrating Meghan, but I remember this one black woman basically said, "Here's a woman who is mixed, got a nose job to kind of erase a lot of her features, straightens her hair, and so forth." So you can't really expect a lot of black women to really.
When somebody says some shit like that to me, you can't tell me that shit and then you're a Michael Jackson fan.
Right.
Stop with that bullshit. Don't tell me that shit.
Well, but you know something? Michael Jackson was not loved until he died like that.
That's
he was not loved at the time of his death. Come on, you remember.
But that was because of the controversy. Michael Jackson.
It was a controversy, and the appearance was kind of crazy.
Even
really?
Black people. No, man.
Really? Michael Jackson being bone white with a thin nose.
Let me tell you something. People fuck with Michael.
At the end, I disagree with you. At the very, he had that. Well, and remember how we talked about how a hit fixes everything?
For sure.
How many decades had passed since Michael Jackson had a hit?
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Let me ask an honest question.
Honest question.
Michael Jackson changed his nose, right?
Yeah.
and his skin color.
Yes.
Tito never did. Who fucks with Tito?
Right.
Nobody.
Right. I actually interviewed Tito.
Because black people love Michael Jackson because he was ingrained in their DNA.
Okay.
I do not
The
believe
DNA that his kids never got. But go on.
Right. I think that right now on my radio show, if you say something bad about Michael Jackson,
Because he's dead.
not even dead.
Once someone dies, let me tell you, XXXTentacion, so many people were talking about how he beat his pregnant girlfriend and this, that, and the third. As soon as he died, he's now the next. He's
Yeah,
the
but I saw a lot of.
Tupac.
Listen,
Once you die, your entire perception changes based on the public.
I disagree. I think Michael
Really?
Jackson. When John Lennon died, radio, all across the country, all across all formats, and radio. Let me tell you, this is not going to be popular. Is the most racist format.
Why is that?
I'll play this for these people, that for these people, that for these people. They only, you can't cross formats. You cannot.
Right, because your advertising is based on
That's
a certain
right.
target market.
So I'm not saying it's malicious. I'm not saying it's intentional, but it is very much true. When John Lennon died, radio across all formats in New York shut down for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Michael Jackson was a bigger star than John Lennon. Not
You could say
even
that.
close. Not even close.
I think it was close.
It wasn't that close.
I think the Beatles as a whole and Michael Jackson are.
We ain't talking about
somewhat
the
close.
Beatles. We're talking about the guy.
Okay, and John Lennon was essentially the face of the Beatles.
Michael Jackson, because of all the shit that happened to him, and because he was black, that didn't happen. We heard about it on TMZ.
Right, they broke the story.
That's right.